Hello and welcome back to this video where we're now going to start to build our material. So in the last video we looked at the basic nodes. Okay, so in this video let's just start by building a very basic material. So I'm going to press and hold the 3 key to bring in a constant 3 vector, and the constant 3 vector will have a single pin, and if we click this pin and then drag this to the base color, then we will still receive this black color, and that is because we have 0, 0, 0, which equals black. Now if we click on the color swatch right here, okay, we have a bunch of colors we can choose for, and I'm going to go back with that red color. I'm going to press OK, and that's actually more of a pinkish color, so let's bring this up and press OK. And looks like we still have this. There we go. There we go. So now we have a red value here. So if we click this apply, and this will apply the changes, and then we click save, and that's saved. If we minimize this, let's just close this for a moment, and we're inside this props folder like was before, so let's just drag out a simple prop and pull this up. Now if we go back to materials and we click the material we have here, on the right hand side we have the properties for this selected object, and if we scroll down you can see we have materials. So if we simply left click and drag this here, we override that and we have our very first very basic material. Okay, so let's go through some of the different properties we can do with this. So for the remainder of the video I'm going to be using constant 1 vectors. Okay, so the first one we have, and if we'd like we could select this cube here and go right click, find in content browser, click this and click the little teapot, and so we have this asset inside here. And okay, so this will do. So we have a bunch of options we can deal with here. Now the first one is what I know is you can see that already this has a little bit of shininess or reflection to this, and the reason is that we have a specular value here. Now specular, unlike but when using Unreal Development Kit, is a little different here. Okay, and that is because now we only use the specular to boost the power of the reflection when we need to go higher than the metallic or roughness value. So if we plug the specular into 0, okay, you see that we actually get no specularity now. Now if we increase this to the maximum value, which is 1, then you'll see we'll get some specular back, but we won't get a whole lot. So you can see it more prominently right here on the corners. So if we change this back to 0, we get none. Set this to 1, and it sort of increases the specularity here. Now if we delete or disconnect this, okay, so if I right click, choose break links, you can see we still get a value right here, and that's because the default value already built into this node is 0.5. Now you generally won't need to ever change that, but if you do, then you need to plug in one of these values like this one back into the specular and really see a very slight change. So let's break this link. Okay, so the first one underneath base color, okay, is metallic, and if we plug this in, you see that this is going to give us a very metal-like appearance. Now the lower this value, the less metallic it'll be. So if we set this to 0, we get no metallic, and 1, very metallic, and any value between is going to sort of leverage between those two values here. So I'm going to set this to 0, and right click and choose break link. So the next one is roughness, and this is how rough the surface is. So if we plug this in and we set this to 0, you see that this now has a very reflective material, Okay, so we can see it's almost like mirror-like. Okay, and if we increase the roughness, then that will slowly disappear. So we set this to 1. You can see it's completely gone. Okay, so between these values, if we to change this back to a sphere, it might be a little bit easier to visualize these materials. So between these, if we set this back to 0, make this very smooth, then we have a very nice reflection. Now if we use this in conjunction with the metallic, so if we right click, put this into metallic, and then we set this to 1, you see we have a very shiny metal. Now if we now plug in another 1, okay, and plug this into specular, and then increase the specular amount, you'll see a very slight change. Okay, so there's just a very slight change in the power of the specular value here. So if we want, we can go up here and we can change this to any color we like. So I'm going to set this, I guess, back to white. Okay, so this will give us a sort of mirror ball effect. So here we have a very basic material. Now there's other nodes we can plug in here. We can plug in emissive, and which will sort of have a self-illumination. We can plug in a normal for normal information, and we also have world position offset and ambient occlusion. Now we're going to go and skip these for now, okay? And as we move into using those materials and inputs, then we'll go through looking at those at that time. But for now, this is our very basic material. In the next video, we're going to look at how we can control this through material instant constants. Okay, so let's just save this. Okay, so you see that when we save this, it automatically makes or applies them. Close this down. And now you can see in our scene, because we have already created that material, that we have this very reflective, very metal-like chromish material here. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and in the next video we'll look at controlling these materials through material instant constances.